Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer the bonus elemental energy reading for the month of May for the element of Earth. Earth covers the zodiac signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So if you are a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or have Earth high up in your charts, then this message is for you. If you've never had your charts read, there is a link in the description to a natal chart. I'm shuffling right now. It's not a sponsored link or anything like that. It's just a little tool there if you're interested. And it gives you your base 12 houses with all the little signs and symbols. And then there's a 10 to 20 page description of what all that means, because I'm not good with astrology, so that's that's why I like to use those. And then there's also a small section in that tells you your elemental alignment, which are the energies that you're dominant in, which are the two that one or two usually, that you are lower in. But there's a lot of fun information in the general one, which is the natal chart that's linked. It shows like all of your kind of your peer group, what your age group is, your generational group. But then there's a lot of really good information in there if you're curious. Also in the description, there's a link to all of the cards that I'm using, so you can check those out. For the bonus readings, I like to do the Celtic Cross with a couple of alterations that make more sense for me personally. So we are going to get started for Earth. Your significator, so this is who you are in totality in this moment in time, is the Six of Pentacles. This is really about learning to share energy, share resources, giving and taking, and building that cycle of give, take, receive. Because when you start doing this energy of giving, receiving, because both are technically the same energy, you start to open up a lot of frequency exchange, and that's what's being shown here. So in this moment, Earth, you really are finding a balance of knowing how to give just the right amount, knowing how to receive when someone is returning a favor, instead of just giving. This is that energy of like being able to accept when someone wants to help you back. And that's where you're at, is you've learned some interesting lessons is what I'm feeling here. And so now you are able to give freely because you're receiving freely as well. So you're balance-wise, you're really good. Excuse me. Before we go any further, I do read intuitively, so what I'm seeing may be different than what the card's definition is. But if you see something different, feel free to comment down below and let me know what you're seeing as well. It's always interesting to hear other people's points of view. But the energy that's crossing you, so this is a challenge, an obstacle, something to be aware of through the month of May, is the Five of Swords. Now, swords is your opposite. Swords are air. And the Five of Swords is saying don't feel defeated just because something didn't happen the way it's supposed to. Yeah, you may feel a little bit isolated, like someone, the Sword of Damocles going on up here. You may feel that there's some energy that's just not quite right, that you feel like the obstacle is this feeling of failure. But what I'm hearing with this one, Earth, is because you're in that Six of Pentacles where you're opening up the doors to giving and receiving, and you're doing so freely and willingly, this is more of allow the ego to settle down and not feel guilt when you overshare or over-receive. There's really no such thing. As long as you're being open to the balance that comes in, and you're feeling very strong with the balance here. So your challenge is just to be aware, if things don't happen to play out the way you would like them to, it's really okay, but you do have this energy that's coming in of guilt or shame, because that's the challenge that you have to face this month. And not everyone's going to feel that. This is a general reading, so if it doesn't happen, that's great. But I am feeling that that is where it's coming in, is this whole like, I'm not good enough, that didn't go the way I want, I'm so, to quote some of the things that go through people's heads, I'm so stupid, I'm not worthy. You are. And none of that is true. You might have some things to learn, but as long as you're willing to learn those lessons, stupid isn't the word. It's when you quit learning the lessons that word applies. So your higher self, this is an interesting card. This deck is beautiful, but this card in particular is interesting, is number 19, the Sun. The energy coming through here is success, achievement, higher frequencies, divine masculine energies tied to the sun as well. So for your higher self, Earth, this is saying you are in a position to achieve a great deal because you've already achieved a great deal. You've opened yourself up to the divine masculine, which is protective and also projective. So you are able to take care of those around you. That's these little dudes down here, because you're going to shield and protect. That is a huge, huge energy that comes in with this. And it's also showing that you have succeeded. You've planted your field of sunflowers, and now things are shining the right direction. So your higher self is really wanting you to understand, because you're willing to protect the things that you've done, because you've put in the work and effort. When we look at the major arcana, the big life lesson energies here, 19 is towards the end, meaning you have had some ups and downs to get where you're at, Earth. But because of that, you're able to actually step forward and say, that's enough, I'm protecting this. And all of the seeds that you've planted, seeds of wisdom, seeds of prosperity, seeds of love and abundance. Again, those words have broad meaning, so it's not all about the money. You are ready to receive that. And your higher self is saying, receive the things that you've planted. The harvest is ready. Accept what you're being offered. Again, it doesn't have to be money. Abundance and prosperity are things going the right way, the things that you put your work into. And it can be a relationship that says he or she says yes. It could be that pregnancy. It could be that promotion, starting that business. It could just be the fact that you've completed an art project you've been working on for the last 6 months. Those are all symbols of abundance and prosperity, because it's things you put effort into and have been rewarded from. And that's the energy I'm getting with this one. So your shadow self, these are the things that we tend to repress, put back, told we're not good enough for, is the Ace of Pentacles. This means there's a new beginning, and it's tied to your element. This is the element of the hearth, the home, still with some abundance and prosperity aspects as well. So there's something new, but it's coming out of the things that you thought you weren't worthy from. When you really do shadow work, it's not saying, I'm gonna conquer my shadow. Good luck with that. That's a monster you'll never beat. But what I'm feeling with this card in particular is there's something coming forward that is an innate, natural talent of yours. This is something that you've always had, but for some reason, others have told you it's not good enough, it's not worthy, it's, ew, why is that there type of a thing, and so you've repressed it. Well, Source is saying this is your time to actually examine it. Your shadow hides all of your treasure. Your shadow hides all the diamonds. They went in as coal, now they're ready to be harvested as diamonds. And that's that Earth Ace of Pentacles energy, is there is a new beginning coming forward from your shadow, and it's something that you at one point thought wasn't good enough. At one point thought wasn't worthy. But Source is saying, take a second look at that. Whatever thought pattern is running through your head in the moment you hear this, write that down. See what comes up. It could be something super simple, it could be something very complex, but write down what's going on in your mind when you hear this, because your shadow brings forward the thing that you're ready to heal or use in that moment. And when we start to work with our shadows and our higher self, we're integrating that energy, you start to understand that everything happens for reasons, and as long as we're willing to look at the lessons, things keep getting better. So, your immediate history, the last 1 month, 6 months, or a year, not sure why I was stumbling there, we have the Five of Cups. So your history, you've had a little crying over spilled milk energy here. You have success. You have some things going really well because they're big and they're full and they're above you, but you're worried about the stuff that didn't work. And that's what's leading into this current mode of the crossing energy of the Five of Swords, because this is a pattern for you, Earth. Looking at the things that didn't go well when the other stuff above you went really well and is succeeding. This is your history. So this is something that's been going on for a while. So this could be an area where you need to do some self-evaluation. Look at the things that have went well. And when that little voice pops up, well, you didn't get that promotion. Yeah, but I got the pay raise, so that's what the goal was there. Well, you didn't get that business started. You're right, because I got that promotion. Well, you didn't get that person. Yeah, because that person turned out to not be the best one. Look at which one I did get. So you're looking at this stuff from the perspective of how well it did happen. And so what you want to examine here, and this is the challenge that ties into your crossing energy, don't let this stuff get you down. You can look at it from the perspective of, okay, that was not the best way to examine that situation. How can I turn that into something better? And that's going to help short circuit the future where it's like, see, just like that last time you just weren't good enough. Well, now you know you are, and that's ridiculous. So it allows you to move forward a little bit more healthy that way. Your immediate future, the next 1 month, 6 months, or a year, is the Two of Swords. This one is an interesting one because it's kind of like the Hermit on the light side. So you're wanting to pull away, take some time, and heal. And in the future, going forward here, you're going through a pathway of knowledge and wisdom, meaning you've had some experiences. You've gained knowledge, which is how you end up with wisdom. And there's this period where taking a break, taking care of yourself, pulling away for a short period of time is not a bad thing. You don't want to stay there, but it's definitely not the time to be running about doing all of the other things that you thought you needed to do. So the Two of Swords, again, swords are not your friend energy. Swords are air, which is the opposite of you. But this is a call to take an intellectual break. Earth, you don't have to always, how am I going to do this? How am I going to fit it together? I have to do all this work. Or you can say, you know what, Source, I've learned a lot. God, Source, I've done all these things. I just need a minute. I need to incorporate this stuff. I need to reset. Let me pass through the gate of knowledge. And on the other side, we can keep going. But right now, I'm just a little overwhelmed. So the future is looking good, but it's also giving you the heads up that maybe it's time to take a little bit of a break. Take a breather. Let yourself recover. It doesn't matter what's going on. It's always good to take a little bit of self-care time. So, not a lot, but a little bit. Your inner attitude, this is how your thoughts and feelings are processing inside. We have the Six of Swords. This is interesting because it shows that you know how to deal with a lot of stuff. So you have the knowledge. You have the experience because you're on your way home from dealing with the stuff, but you also have someone who's riding above you, with you. So you are in a delicate situation and you're aware of this, Earth, where you know people are watching. You're training somebody, whether it's a child, whether it's a coworker, or like an apprentice type thing is what I'm hearing. These people are observing you. They're paying attention to how you are dealing with things. You are aware of this, and that's also this energy of, okay, I've done all this stuff. I've dealt with a lot. I've fought my battles, so to speak. How can I move forward and educate so that they don't have to have the same mistakes that I've already done? How can I move forward and heal things so that there's not a repeat of these same problems again? And that's the thought pattern that's kind of going through your head right now, this inner attitude world where you're thinking about stuff. That's where this Two of Swords is coming in as well in the future. Take the time to reset. Take the time to incorporate and integrate the lessons that your shadow and your higher self are bringing forward, because they're not going to force anything on you, but they will bring it up until you pay attention to it. So your outside world, this is the stuff that's outside your control that may still be influencing you, though, is the Ten of Pentacles. There's a lot of movement going on around you, Earth. You're wanting to seek in the future here some quiet time to recover, but your world is actually being really busy and chaotic. But it's because you've got all these things going. You have planted all of those seeds. Things are coming into the harvest. There's still a lot of busy work going on around you. And so your outside world is like, I have 100,000 things I need to be focusing on and doing and taking care of. And I've got all this stuff. Don't forget the inner world is saying, yeah, we got this. You know what you're doing here. This isn't a big deal. How can you prevent future issues? By learning from the past. That's the attitude, and the future saying, take the break. You're going to need it. And it's not that it's bad to take a break. It's actually healthy to put a pause on things for a minute, even if it's only for a night where you shut your phone off and you curl up, have a nice warm bath, you watch that funny movie, or in my case, that spooky movie, read the book, whatever it is, but take some time to disconnect and allow your soul to rest. That's going to be beneficial because the outside chaos isn't going anywhere, is what the Ten of Pentacles is saying. It's going to be there when you get back. It's fine. But take the time to take care of yourself. Your hopes and fears. Swords are really your challenge this month. We have the Nine of Swords. This is the fear is losing. The fear is taking the wrong step and having the past repeat itself. The hope, though, is that because you are taking the time right now to watch this video and listen, or listen to your higher self, your guides and God, you're going to be able to learn the lesson and bypass so that you don't have to repeat that pattern ever again. It's not always easy to do the self-examination, and that's the fear is, what if I fail? Earth, I'm here to challenge you. What if you succeed? What fear is blocking you from succeeding? What feeling of shame or guilt is blocking you? Because the hope is that you can see through this illusion, air is also an illusion energy, and move beyond that. The past is what you're thinking about. This is a dream. That's an illusion. It's not real anymore. And that's what you're being called to overcome, that fear. Because with that hope side of it, the positive spin there is, you know what? Yes, I had that moment. It's going to keep me humble from here on out because I see what happens when ego gets in the way. I see what happens when I don't work with spirit. I see what happens when I am aggressive and I hurt other people in my pursuit of a mission. Those are excellent lessons to learn. And that's what this is saying, is if you've learned the lesson, the illusion breaks that quick and you're good to go. So your overall outcome here, interesting, is the Sire of Wands. This is saying your passion, your drive is your teacher. Your passion and drive may attract the teacher, and this could be you hanging out down here, where they are coming in to be like, you know what, we see you've got some spunk, kid. Let's do this. And it could, like I said, it could be that promotion aspect where a higher ranking manager has been watching you and is like, let's give this one a shot. It could also be a spirit guide or God source coming in saying, okay, you've done a lot and now it's time to learn the next session. And when we're talking about wands, this is fire, this is passion, this is the drive to keep going. And it's really showing me here that you are ready for that next step. You might just have to spark that little fire to get things moving, but that's what this higher energy, this more elevated position type stuff that's coming in, it's going to inspire you to continue pushing forward, to continue to move towards that dream and goal. Because where you're standing in this moment, Earth, don't forget, you're finding balance. You've learned how to give and receive because you've had to go through so much other stuff. And now that you have learned that lesson, your higher self and your shadow are saying, well done, here's the next problem, here's the next challenge, here's the next opportunity. So when we start to understand that cycle that goes on here, that's where you're moving into the Sire of Wands, where there's going to be a master, a teacher that comes in to show you the next set. Now they're going to do it for you? Heck no. But they will show you how to do it. And there is, I'm feeling an underlying theme here, so we're going to go with that. Your underlying theme here is, that's actually kind of funny, is the Fool. 0. Major Arcana. You've achieved the end of a mission. Now it's time to start the next one. The next leg of your journey starts the minute you watch this video. The next leg of your journey is the minute you decide enough is enough. I'm going to break the illusion and I'm going to go forward. I'm going to overcome my fear of what happened in the past because that is the past. It is no longer real. It is an illusion. I can break that, learn the lesson, and go forward. The Fool starts out with nothing. And when you have to break a pattern, when you have to break an illusion, you start off with nothing because it shatters everything you thought you had and knew. A little intimidating when you think about it, but that is actually kind of a positive thing too, because it gives you the opportunity to start over. And sometimes you start over from a better place, and sometimes you start over going, what was that? And for Earth right now, I'm definitely getting the what was that theme. So let's take a peek at the Oracle while we're shuffling the cards here and drawing the cards. Feel free to drop a like on the video and share, subscribe, all those fun things. And I pull 3 cards for the Oracle. These can be an answer, so if you have a question, you can push pause, see what message comes through, or there could just be clarification for the main reading here. Your first card is number 27, so 3 sets of 3, 3 times 9. We have the Heart Home, which is compassion. This, I'm feeling, as soon as I flip this card over, my heart chakra pulsed. So this is where you're standing right now is what I'm feeling. This is where your peace is in your home. And the home is it's a spiritual thing. A house is sticks and stones and all that. But the home is the spiritual side of it. Your heart is this aspect. This feeling of compassion, this ties into the Six of Pentacles as well. This is where you stand. You're in balance. You understand how things work. You don't have to like it, but you do love through it. And that's that compassion is, yes, I may not agree with you. I may actually disagree with you heartily, but I don't hate you. We can have a disagreement and still be friends. We can have a disagreement and still be okay with each other. And that's this heart-home energy. When we tap into our heart chakra, and if you want, you can take a couple seconds here and touch your heart chakra. Feel the heartbeat underneath of it, but then go through that into the spiritual side where you feel the chakra spinning. This chakra shows you the divine aspect of creation. This chakra opens and allows you to feel the genuine love of the Creator for you personally, but then that reflects out and allows you to see the world in that same shade. Again, and I've said this in other videos, just because you're in that state of love does not mean that you're a pacifist. It means I love you and sometimes I have to correct a course. That's that heart home energy though, is when God's source is looking down at us, there's times where he or she is looking at you going, they're still doing this. Okay, boom. And you get a little bump in the right direction, and it may feel like your life tips upside down, but then when it resets, you're in a better place because you're now on the path you were supposed to be on, and that's where that energy comes in. So tapping into that heart chakra is also I'm feeling that that's where the chakra needs to be, the attention needs to be this month for Earth. So your second one is the number 15, Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation. This, I feel like this is tying into the Fool energy. So this is your underlying theme, and this is the top of it. You have to shake things loose to be able to move forward. You're moving out of a period of pause. You still have these little glimpses of that time with that Two of Swords, where there's times where you're going to have to pull away and recover and recoup. But the energy that I'm really feeling here is things are being wiped away. They're being blown away. And it may not be the most easy thing. Again, air with the dust and all that. So this is not going to be an easy part of the month. It's going to be the challenge, another challenge aspect. But it's clearing out the illusion so that you can move more freely. And your final card is number 59, the Wailing Tree with Reconciliation. You're not reconciling with anyone else, you're reconciling with yourself. This month is about resetting, understanding how far you've come, releasing the things that no longer serve, especially those mindsets of shame, guilt, or unworthiness, but also reconciling with your soul. That's where we come into this heart home again. And when I say that, I mean forgive yourself for the past. Love yourself into the future. Do not be afraid of the positive things that Source can bring. Even if there's a lesson along the way, you'll understand later why you had that lesson. And trust me, from experience, there's times where you scratch your head going, why am I dealing with this? But when you come out on the other side, you can reconcile. There's a lesson there. There was something that needed to be learned so that your shadow could be appeased. Mind you, your shadow is a new beginning. It's saying, Earth, it's time to start something over. It's time to start anew. Reconcile the past, release it, and move forward in grace. Move forward in dignity. This reading is interesting because it is literally calling to the things that you don't want to look at. Because Earth, your opposite is air, like arch nemesis is your air. And that's the thing that is going to call you out the most this month. And it's calling you to break an illusion, to break a past cycle, this past cycle of crying over spilled milk type of a thing, and not realizing the success that you've had because you had a failure. We all fail, that's just life. And this whole, the energy overall here is saying, Earth, you've got this. You really do. Keep up the positive give, receive, exchange thing going on. Take the time when you need it to recover and recoup. Learn to love and forgive yourself, because when we can do that to the person we look at in the mirror, it makes it easier to do it to the other people around us too. So with that, I will let you guys and gals go. I will see you in the next video. Have a great month of May.